Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us, 865-658-5824. Joined alongside Tim live in Green Bay. Here to talk a little Packers on the eve of game day as we got the Arizona Cardinals coming into Lambeau Field. Noon kickoff. Expecting some rain in the forecast. We'll talk about that. Going to be a fun day for some football up in the Mecca that is Green Bay, Wisconsin. First things first, let's give a shout out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 1992, specializing in Packers tickets. They're Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Just click on a link in the video description that'll send you to theticketking.com, where you can register for free as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Tim, how we doing this evening, sir?
Doing good, man. Happy to be back. Long day on the road. Made it back to Titletown in time. Got through the rain. It's a beautiful day to talk some ball. As we, like you said, it's like Christmas Eve, right? It's like game day Eve. You know, get your excitement in now so we can be nice and calm for the game.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
It's going to be a little chipper tomorrow, and it might be a bit rainy out there at 12:65. So bring your ponchos if you're coming to the game, and bring an extra bottle of whiskey if you're going to the tailgate. Keep yourself warm, you know.
Keep them bones warm, right, Tim? We know
That's
all
right.
about that.
That's right.
Since we already mentioned, let's just dive into it here. We get a couple different references or a couple of different websites. I think this was AccuWeather put out. Here is the forecast tomorrow, okay? So 11 a.m., 52 degrees, going to feel like 41, 16-mile-an-hour winds with an 85% chance of rain. And then at 12 noon kickoff, 52, feeling like 41, winds picking up to about 18 miles an hour and 85% chance of rain. And then they're showing 1 p.m., 85% chance of rain as well. Now, I did see this come across Twitter earlier today, too. Tailgating, 52 degrees and rain, 40% chance. So the reason we're showing you multiple forecasts is because you guys know how this goes. They never get it right, right? So
heard it from a fan right here.
52 degrees, 40% chance of rain. And then at kickoff, 55 degrees, 70% chance of rain. At halftime, 54 degrees, 50% chance of rain. By the end of the game, still a 50% chance of rain, sitting around 52 degrees. So it is going to feel like it's in the 40s, and obviously dress warm, because when it's in the 50s and you get some rain, Tim, it gets chilly quick when you get wet, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I keep looking at all these percentages. I'm hoping we get more than a 50% chance of running the freaking ball tomorrow.
Amen, sir.
Especially on first down.
Yeah, got to get away from the first down passes. And here's the thing, too. You hear me say that all the time, but the statistics show the best time to pass is on first down, right? And that's what LaFleur's thinking. That's what most coaches are doing. It's frustrating when you see a game that you're like, man, this is going to be a close game, and you're starting second and 10, man. It just it starts to pile up. It really does, man.
It's not like I don't want them to throw on first, you know, like you said. Statistically, it's a good look a lot of times, but I mean, at least mix in a run on first down, you know, more often than we have been doing, basically. But we'll see. You never know. Could be a grinder tomorrow. Maybe we'll get a heavy dose of Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson.
Yeah, definitely. Got everybody rolling in the chat now. Holmes in the house. We've got Daniel Berry in the house. Mr. IROC says, "Go Pack, go." Let's see here. Holmes MD1 says, did you guys see the Madden sim for the game tomorrow on YouTube? I did not. You know, we thought about doing that, Holmes. I thought about maybe the day before the game, like on Saturdays, just doing a live broadcast of Madden and sim the game, 15-minute quarters type thing, and just to see how it shakes out, a little extra content, maybe something to watch. Let us know in the chat how it went, man. I did not see that on YouTube. I'd like to know how it turned out. Not that it really means anything, but you know how that goes. So, all right, we got Greg in the chat. Good evening, buddy. Good to see you. Let's see. Jay in the chat says, I hope Willis played outside his mind in scout team this week. I'm actually really nervous going up against Kyler Murray this week. That's a good point too, Jay. What he's referring to there, guys, is basically Malik Willis is probably running the scout team. And what they'll do is they'll draw up the majority of the Arizona Cardinals' looks on offense, right? Specific play design that the scouting team has kind of uncovered. And they'll have Malik Willis play like Kyler Murray, right? Scrambling, things like that. Their zone read, I'm sure they've worked on that as well. Man, Tim, that's another weapon to have in the arsenal, isn't it? To have somebody like Malik Willis that can actually give you those accurate looks from a mobile quarterback standpoint, right? I didn't even think about that.
I was just going to say that's a great point, because with Malik, it's not necessarily just playing or acting. The guy's actually capable of running the ball and being mobile. So I bet you he did probably his best Kyler Murray impression, albeit he's probably got a few inches in height and grip on Kyler there. But as long as he kept the defense honest this week, I think that's Jay's point. Working on the scout team, getting our starters tuned up for this game. I won't go as far as to say nervous. I mean, nerves are normal before any game, but definitely I will say we can't overlook this Cardinals offense. We have to respect that game, especially with what we uncovered these past couple of days, kind of doing the deep dive and seeing that, obviously Kyler can beat you with his feet, but man, he's been standing in that pocket and lighting teams up too this year. So we've got to account for him in the pass game as well.
Yeah. No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Got all kinds of people filing in. Good to see you, Prince. Appreciate you swinging through. Ari, I hope I'm saying that correct. Ari, or yeah, probably Ari. Says, greetings from Mexico. Go Pack Go. Buenas noches. That's what I'm talking about. Got a Mexican Packers viewer here. Appreciate you supporting the stream and dropping in on X. Like you said, Go Pack Go, baby. That's what I'm talking about tomorrow, Tim. Let's get this thing geared up.
Yes,
got to get this done, man. It's not a must-win game. But, man, it would be nice to get a win, and not just a win, but like one of those where you win by 10, 12, maybe 14 points and kind of create some momentum as you go into the second quarter of the season will be absolutely huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I might disagree a little. I think all the games at 1265 are must win. I'm tired of seeing my team lose at home. We got to take care of home. So, this will be good for momentum. We I think our biggest win streak, two so far, the back-to-back with Malik at QB1. So let's get a streak going for Jay Money and the boys. Let's get our second in a row. That way we're heading into the Houston game, on a good note. So go Pack Go for sure, like Ari said in the chat, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Dan Lang in the chat says, heading over on 4 hours road trip to sit in the rain and view my 200-plus home game. Bring home the W. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
I like that. Yeah. Over 200 Packer games. Wow.
What a life. That's absolutely awesome. Man.
Incredible.
That's it's going to be us in a couple years, not 200. We don't have a time machine, but you know what I mean. We're going to be attending a lot more games here in the next few years. We're in the process of looking around up there, and hopefully within the next, I don't know, 12 to 24 months, we will have a spot fairly close to Lambeau where the guys can do pods from. We can go up for home games, all that good stuff. But, Dan, you be safe traveling, sir. And, thank you for all those years of going out there and toughing it out in the weather, man, and rooting on the Packers. It's awesome. John Schmidt in the chat says, we were in the third quarter last week, and our average third down to go was 12 yards. Can't happen. Amen. Tim, that's what we're talking about, playing behind schedule, right? You've got to play on schedule. And, again, I'm sure LaFleur's seen something that warranted a first down pass that put us in kind of those spots. But, man, third down and 12 is a tough look all day long. It really is.
Yeah, and, I mean, we've seen our guys convert those too, and that's kind of a bad thing too. You start getting in this habit of, like, converting these crazy long third downs all the time. And it's like if we could just manage early downs a little better, I think we'd set ourselves up for more success. But it's so true. We can't have another game like that. We got to be in third and manageable situations, where we at least have options, and the opposing defense doesn't know what we're going to do. At least you have some deception there. But when you're, third and 12, third and 15, backed up on a penalty or something foolish, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion you're going to have to throw the ball, and they're going to be ready for it. So I'd like to see us get ahead early and being more manageable third downs, like John's saying here.
Yeah, it'd be huge, man. It really is one of the secrets to winning ball games in the NFL that most people don't talk about is that play calling and putting yourself behind the sticks consistently. Now, when you hit on a first down throw, man, there's nobody more excited than me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going, why are we throwing on first down when we hit for a chunk play, right?
Yep.
But you gotta stay on schedule. There's no two ways about it. Let's see what else we got here in the chat real quick. Let's see. Holmes did come back in and says Clayton the Sim had the Packers win. Good stuff there. Appreciate the update.
Nice.
Taylor Bell said we need to play gap sound and tackle well, and we need Ja Money, man, and I need Matt to play chess, not checkers. I like it. What do you think, man? You think Jair's going to play tomorrow, Tim? I know it's kind of a crapshoot right now, but what are you thinking, man?
I do. I'm confident he's going to play, and really, it's based off of what he said, not only in his presser, but like we said last week against the Rams. He almost played against the Rams. It was kind of a last-minute decision type of deal, and I think Ja's going to go. I think Scoot is the one we should keep our eye on pre-game. I think that's going to be one of those deals where he's going to run out, kind of test the field, test his legs, and they may make a decision right before kickoff. They have I believe it's 90 minutes prior to kickoff or something to make their decision. So I know most of the fan base is pretty much expecting that Watson's not going to play. I would probably lean that way too, but they haven't ruled him out officially yet. So I would be looking to that pregame. But I think Ja, even being questionable, seeing that he was limited all week at practice, I think this is a big game. I think he's going to go. I really do.
I can see it too, man. All right, so there you go with that. Let's see. Harry Cheese said, did they have Malik play quarterback from his knees during practice? I like that, man. Just a little shot there. A little shot at our boy Kyler Murray. And then Antonio Universe says McBride was a tough tight end, just like Kraft. McBride is a solid tight end. He really is. And like you said, he's kind of cut from the same cloth as a Tucker Kraft, no doubt about it. Let's go to the Patreon group, and had a couple of comments in there I wanted to hit on real quick here, Tim. This one here, first of all, Damon Stewart shared that quote that you kind of talked about. I believe it was you last night that was talking about Jair Alexander, talking about Romeo Dobbs. Quote, I talked to Romeo. I even reached out, and I understand how it is, how things can be, and mental health being a big part of how things happen like that. I just wanted to let him know I was there for him, and if he needs anything, to reach out. That's what I'm talking about, man. It's becoming more and more obvious that was an issue. It doesn't justify, Rome no-showing. That's why he got suspended. We're putting that behind us, but it's obvious that everyone is talking about it now. Christian Watson kind of mentioned it. Jair mentioned it. There are still some knuckleheads that are going, I call BS. Okay, got it. Everybody's lying for Rome. But anyway, I thought that was cool that Ja did reach out and obviously try to help Romeo in that regard. Damon Stewart in the chat said, saw a few Packers at a high school game waving flags and doing push-ups on the mascot plank. It was really cool when I seen this come across the wire, because Jaden Reed, guys, what he's been doing on Twitter every Friday, he's been putting a little filler out there anytime going, hey, where's a good ball being played tonight? And everybody's trying to tweet at him saying, hey, come to this game, come to that game. Wes Hokowitz had tweeted out, I hope I'm saying this right, Samiko, is that correct?
Close. Yeah, Swamico.
Okay.
Yep.
The U becomes a W. Got it. Down here in Tennessee, we just turn it into one syllable and move on. You know what I mean? We're of course, we read it at a third grade level. Pretty cool that Jaden's out doing this stuff, though, right?
Yeah, I believe Bo Melton was out there too. A couple of the other guys. I know Wes was tweeting some of their stuff, but yeah, Jaden Reed is what a cool guy, right? I mean, that's got to make your night if you're a high school student. You're just going to your game, and oh, by the way, birds hanging out, taking selfies, enjoying the festivities, and then yeah, like you said, kind of going to social media and kind of letting the fans decide, which is the game that you should go check out, because there's quite a few teams in the region here, Fox Valley region, that are playing some really good football right now, Friday Night Lights. So shout out to Jaden Reed, man, and the Packers for that goes in the same same lines as doing things for the community, right? It doesn't always have to be a charity drive or something official. It can just be being out and being with fans, being in the community, showing that you're a part of it. And certainly a lot of these guys do that on a weekly basis. And it's just really cool to see.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely love Jaden Reed's hoodie too. If you guys zoom in, it's a hoodie that's got 6 or 7 different depictions of Jesus on it. It's just really cool, man. He's so open about his beliefs and everything. Absolutely love it. We actually got that video here. Now, I can't play the entire audio. We'll just kind of play it in the background a little bit because they do hit some music on Packers.com. So we'll play the first part of Bo talking, and then I'll mute it real quick. because, again, we don't know if that music's copyright or not. But here we go. This was Bo Melton and the boys, Jaden Reed, all of them at the Swamico game last night.
Bo Melton here. Good. Hey, man. We here today at the West.
All right, so you'll kind of see some of the images roll here as the music kicked in. But obviously, Bo Melton, Christian Watson. You got Jaden Reed. Who was the other guy back there? I couldn't catch it.
We had
not sure. Cousin Lenny. We'll say Cousin Lenny. All right?
Cousin Lenny.
Yeah. Look at Bo. I think that's Bo right there doing the push-ups, right? Got to work off them cheese curds. You know what I'm saying, Tim?
That wasn't no, Jordan Morgan, was it?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think those kids were holding him up. Look at Bird out there bringing it around. I just love this stuff, man. To me, high school football is the lifeblood of the sport that everyone refers to as America's game. It's just awesome, man. If you haven't been to a high school game in a few years, just earmark a Friday night before the season's over and just go take it in, man. Get you one of those cheap hot dogs that'll make you sick for about 12 hours. You know what I mean? The bad concession stand food, and just let it roll, man. I like a good challenge in that regard, but there's nothing better than high school football for sure, man.
You could always go for the cheese curds too.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
Tim, do they have cheese curds at high school games? Is that a thing?
I'm sure some of them do. I'm sure. It all depends on how skillful the food truck is that's at the concession stand area.
That's a good point. Down here, man, we just got the norm. You know, you got your the local pizza joint. You can. Yeah, it's funny. They sell slices of pizza for like $2 or $3 a slice, and I'll go in there and be like, give me a whole pie. You know what I mean? Just to support and passing them out in the stands. Of course, I try to hold on to about 4 or 5 slices.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to have a few yourself.
Mandy always looks at me. She's usually sitting 2 or 3 seats down from me. She's just shaking her head like, oh, God, he's going to be asleep in the back seat the whole way home. That's exactly right. That's how that works.
Mandy's looking at you like,
thick.
Yeah, very thick. This guy I'm stuck with here. Ron Samble in the Patreon group said the Packers lead the league in pressure percentage when they bring 5. Next Gen Stats says 54.8%. Interesting. We actually talked about it on the show, Ron. You may or may not have heard that show. That is correct. When you bring 5, they're leading the league in pressure percentage. They're also there was a couple other statistics too. I think they were 7th in what was it? They were 7th in pressures overall. No, sacks, 7th in sacks.
Yep.
And then they are blitzing only 19% of the time, which is the 3rd lowest in the league. So contrary to popular belief, they are hitting home with the pressures. But again, it could be better. We know that, right? We've talked about it over and over and over again. And then Carly actually put this comment in another section of our Patreon group, and I just put it in here because it'd be a good question for the show. She said, can you remind me what the spy role is on defense?
That ain't no problem, huh? That ain't no problem.
And would it be good to use that role against Kyler Murray? Or am I revealing that I really have no idea what I'm talking about? Now, you're spot on, Carly. A spy is real simple. They'll take a backer typically. Sometimes they'll use a safety, but for the most part, it's a linebacker, either the middle linebacker, the Michael, the Will. And what they'll do is they'll have him sit in a short underneath zone about 2 or 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, and you're basically just mirroring the quarterback. The goal is anything shallow, take it away while you're there, right? You know, if they try to run a shallow cross or any kind of spot routes or something that catches your eye. But the number one focus of the spy is to make sure the quarterback does not scramble, and more specifically up the middle of the field. That's what the spy does. Now, the spy can go sideline to sideline, obviously, but really in a nutshell, it's to take away those mid-rushing lanes for the quarterback. Now, there's a couple different types of spies that we've talked about on Chalk Talk in the past. You've got your touch spy, where you'll actually mug the line of scrimmage. The ball will be snapped. You'll engage with the center or the guard and then release in your spine. And you're accomplishing 2 things right there. You're occupying an offensive lineman to where the other rushers have already got into their pass rush, so they can't help, and they have to honor the fact that you might be blitzing, whether it's a green dog or just a straight all-out will or might fire. So you're taking away an offensive line. You're basically hat on a hat, and then you're +1 in the hat count by taking the spy. And even if you're a defender smart enough, they can kind of take away those shallow crosses while they're spying, kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And then the other thing is a sugar spy, which is the touch spy is a form of a sugar spy, but you're actually engaging. But with the sugar spy, you're showing A gap or B gap pressure. So you're mugging that gap. You don't actually touch the lineman, when the ball snap, you drop back in your spy, right? So you got sugar spy, you got sugar touch spy, and then you just got spy outright. And sometimes you'll see, Tim, I don't think they do it much in Green Bay. I haven't seen it in years. The safety will rob, it looks like a cover one robber. And rather than rob, they'll actually come down with that really, really aggressive rack coverage underneath and kind of play that spy and take away from the top down the shallow looks. So that all makes sense. Anything you want to add to that, Tim?
No, that's spot on. And I mean, Carly knows more than she thinks, because Kyler Murray is definitely the type of quarterback you may consider spying in a game like this. Anybody that's a threat to run like that, it may be worth spying the quarterback. But like to your point, Clayton, I think getting creative and not just, using Quay as a spy all day and maybe mixing it up, like you said, mixing in rack coverage, mixing in a spy from the back end from the, maybe a guy like McKinney or Bullard spying on some of these plays might, keep them off balance a little bit. The other thing is though, too, spy only works if they're going to be running, right? Like right. If you're spying all day and you're taking yourself out of, coverage or something, and the quarterback's just standing in the pocket lighting you up, then it's time to bail probably on the spy.
And typically they'll run it when they feel really good about, okay, we've got this specific formation narrowed down to here's 2, maybe 3 concepts they like to run. So let's say they're in a trips or a tray and they want to attack with a flood concept on the outside, and you call a Mabel on the backside, then you feel pretty comfortable that, hey, look, they're not going to run the football and we need to spy opposite of the trips or tray because he's probably going to take it to that side of the field if he decides to run. Because if you're in a Mabel and there's no match aspects of that zone defense, then what's going to happen is every defender has got their eyes on the quarterback already. So on that side of the field, you're not worried about. So you'll kind of cheat to the weak side of that play with a little spy. Sometimes the defensive lineman spy too. Yep. It's really, when we talk run stunning and when you see a lot of these twists, sometimes they're doing that in the run game. And they'll actually, you'll notice Kenny Clark will like occupy a double team, try to free up a looping defensive tackle, and then he'll just kind of drift back a touch, looking to take that running lane away from the scrambling quarterbacks as well. That's somewhat of a form of a spy too. They're just doing it with the illusion of a TT stunt and also that run stunt to kind of take away one of those quick gashers up the middle, if that makes sense. So, yep. Yeah. So, AFAM in the chat says Sugar Spy sounds like a Starbucks drink. It actually does. It does. Hit them with it right here, Tim. Nate Dog 307 says the pack is back.
Just here to tell you, pack is back.
You heard it from a fan.
I got to fix that. We need that. We got to get that. So again, thanks to everybody in the Patreon. Thanks to everybody in the Patreon group. Scan the QR code in the upper right if you want to join our awesome Patreon community, or just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We got an awesome group of people in there. No arguing whatsoever. It's just unbelievable. It's just all ball all the time. It's a really, really cool group of people. We appreciate everybody in there supporting the stream. So seeing this come across the wire too, thought it was cool. NFL Nerd on X is becoming one of my favorite follows, but I thought this was really neat. It says Cardinals at Packers, Sunday, October 13th, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Last week 6 matchup between these two teams, 1963, and the Packers won 30-7. Look at these shots right here, Tim. This is the olden days. I love this shot right here. Jim Taylor, Bart Starr, little play action pass, looks like it. Man, look at that mud too.
They look like they're playing on a baseball field.
It's got to be a little diamond dirt there, right?
A little diamond dirt there, like the good old days. Yeah, I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Yeah, back when basically everyone wore the same helmet,
right?
Same 2 face mask options.
Exactly.
I love it.
So shout out to NFL Nerd for just all of his great content.
Hey, let's hope we repeat history and have the same kind of final score tomorrow.
Yes. Amen. Preach, brother, preach. Let's see if we got anything else. Yeah, mud bass. Yeah. You weirdo, A-fam. Look at you, sir. He said, I love that mud. Then he said mud bass. It got creepy real quick. Sorry, A-fam. Come on, we got to.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Daryl said Kraft is good to go. Is that true, Tim? We good to go there, you think, man?
I believe so. I believe so. Chuck Norris, it's gonna, nothing's gonna keep him out, man. I think he's good to go.
Yeah. So, it's a good point. He wasn't listed as questionable, right? So he is good. Tucker Kraft, no game status. So,
Yeah.
Great job pointing that out. As it looks like Tucker Kraft will be ready to go. That's going to be huge. Absolutely huge, man. And again, I think this game is it's just paramount that the Packers get a win here. At Lambeau, like you said, man, get back in the win column on your home turf, protect 1265, all those things you always talk about. When you look at the Week 6 schedule, this was also tweeted out by Nerding on NFL. I love looking at this graphic every week just to kind of give you an idea. Here's what to look for, right? First things first, tomorrow morning when you wake up and get your coffee, right? We're going to be doing a pregame show, okay? So be ready for that. That will be 10:30 Lambeau time, all right? So 10:30 Central in the morning, we will be doing a pregame show taking you up to kickoff, all right? But before that, at 8:30 Central, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Chicago Bears. Now, obviously, it's going to be, I believe that one's in London, obviously. So, or maybe Germany, probably London, I would imagine. Let's see if it says it there. It doesn't give any details. Anyway, it's going to be across the pond somewhere. But Jaguars at the Bears. I love rooting against the Bears, man. They're like, that's the other team that I look for every week to watch a game if the Packers aren't playing in the same window, Tim, because I just want to kind of keep a beat on the whole Caleb Williams thing, and I will be a huge Jacksonville Jaguars fan tomorrow, man. How about you?
You and me both, brother. And yes, it is in London. They will be playing in London. Hopefully those blokes can get a win against the Bears tomorrow.
Worst accent I've ever heard. I love it. So you'll have that game you're waking up to. Now, the rest of the 1 o'clock games, you got the Colts at the Titans. You've got the Texans at the Patriots. You got the Commanders at the Ravens. That might be a sneaky good game there. But, of course, Packers are kicking off 12 Central, Cardinals at Lambeau. That's the one we're going to be watching there. There's also the Bucks at the Saints, the Browns at the Eagles. Those are your 1 o'clock window games. Moving on to 4:05 kickoff Eastern, so that's 3 o'clock for you Central folks. You got the Chargers at the Broncos. You got the Steelers at the Raiders. That's an old school rivalry. And then, I don't know what, 15, 20 minutes later, you're going to have the Falcons at the Panthers kicking off and the Detroit Lions at the Dallas Cowboys. So while we're doing the postgame show, that's what will be on my TV right here, will be the Lions and the Cowboys. We'll be doing a postgame show immediately following the Packers-Cardinals game. That should be a dandy there, Tim, because Cowboys kind of been on their heels this year. You know, they're one of those teams that everybody always expects so much more from. I mean, they're second place in their division, sitting at 3-2. But the Lions are second place in the North at 3-1. That should be a dandy there, man. I'm definitely excited to see how the Lions shake out there against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think that could be a close game. Realistically, I don't see a boat race either way. Although, if somebody got boat raced, it probably would be the Cowboys. But hopefully, Dallas will go ahead and get us a victory and hand one of our division rivals a loss that we desperately need. I've said it more than once that I don't think we're going to get much help from our opponents in the division this year as far as the wins and losses. But you can always keep your fingers crossed. So hopefully Dallas gets it done.
Heck yeah. Holmes in the chat said, no coffee, Clayton. I believe you meant a breakfast beer. There you go. You Wisconsin people, man, y'all are built different.
Yeah, you see what Ben said, sandwich in every can.
Then he went on to say, mill in every six-pack.
Mill in every six-pack. Can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning, Clayton.
That's exactly right. Words to live by. So the Sunday night game of the week, I wouldn't call it a game of the week, but it's in that slot. The Bengals at the Giants there on Sunday Night Football on NBC. And then, of course, Monday Night Football will be wait for the shark. Monday Night Football will be the Bills at the Jets. So we'll see if Aaron Rodgers can rebound against those pesky Buffalo Bills. So when we look at the standings here, the Bills lead the AFC East. The Jets are in second place, believe it or not, in the AFC. That AFC East is still, I mean, if the Jets get hot after firing Saleh here, they might go on a run. They got a legit shot because that division is really down, especially with Tua being out in Miami and the Patriots forgetting how to play football now that Bill Belichick's gone. So that'll be a dandy there, man. That's for first place, right? That's what that game is, Monday Night Football. That'd be good.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the AFC as a whole, there's a lot of teams that are kind of down. So certainly a team like the Jets, if they could hang around, they could squeak in even as a wild card.
Yeah, definitely, man. So the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers are both sitting at 3-2. Everybody else is cheeks in that division, being the Browns and the Bengals. So that's a two-team race as it sits right now between the Ravens and the Steelers. Then you've got the AFC South. The Texans are sitting at 4-1. The Colts are at 2-3. Those are the top two teams there. In the AFC West, the Chiefs are still undefeated at 5-0. The Broncos are in second place at 3-2. They're starting to get hot now with that strong defense. And then Bo Nix played a lot better last week. In the NFC East, you've got the Washington Commanders. I repeat, the Washington Commanders are in first place, and hell has officially frozen over. The Cowboys are in second place. So here's what it comes down to, though. Washington travels to Baltimore tomorrow. If they drop that game, and we're all going to be pulling for the Cowboys tomorrow against the Lions. I know that makes some people sick at their stomach, but believe me, we need to do that, all right? If that happens and they pull off that win, all of a sudden the Cowboys are right back in the driver's seat there in the NFC East. They at least got a shot at surpassing Washington in the next week or so. So in the NFC North, you got the Vikings at 5-0. Then you got the Lions at 3-1. The Packers are sitting at 3-2, and so are the Bears. So the Bears are technically in last place, but with the same record as the Packers. Listen, you got to give credit where credit's due. Bears have been playing good football here lately. Let's hope they do the Chicago Bear thing and stink it up, completely screw up the whole ordeal here. But again, the Vikings sitting strong at 5-0, and the Lions at 3-1. Does that surprise you with how the NFC North is sitting right now, Tim? I think if I'd asked you this and said, "Hey Tim, listen, Jordan Love's going to be missing some time with a sprained MCL in the first quarter of the season. The Packers are still going to be sitting at 3-2. Would that surprise you? I would feel pretty good about that. Now, what's crazy is Malik Willis got those 2 wins and Love lost both, right?
Yep.
Love lost 1-1, right? So
exactly. I think you're right. I mean, nobody really saw that coming out of the preseason. You know, we had high hopes, ready to get off on a good foot. We had the debacle in Brazil. And been a little shaky, but yeah, we had QB2 step up and secure a couple of wins to keep our season going. But I definitely think the big surprise, obviously, is the Vikings at 5-0. I don't even think their fans thought they would start 5-0 this year. But like you said about the Bears, I'm confident that the Vikings will start dropping some games at some point. And hey, they can't get a win this week because they're on the bye, so at least they can't hurt us this week. But yeah, that was a bit of a shocker. I mean, Detroit at 3-1, that doesn't surprise me. We know that they're playing good football these past couple of seasons. But yeah, a little shocking to see us and the Bears, fighting here at the bottom. But hey, we're not even at the halfway point of the season. We all know how things are going to ramp up as we get into the thick of this schedule. It ain't how you start, it's how you finish. So still holding on to hope here in the NFC North that we can make something happen. But definitely a few surprises, right, Clay? I don't think we saw a lot of this coming.
Whole lot of football left. And the thing is, like, Jordan Love missing 2 games, that's going to throw the whole offense out of sync. The reality is, I know they won both games with Malik Willis as starting quarterback, but you had to adjust your whole game plan. That takes other guys kind of out of that rhythm of what we were trying to do with Jordan Love at quarterback. It kind of has that trickle-down effect. Now, what's cool is you fight through all that. You fight through the injuries. Really, everything that could have went wrong last week. The pick 6 and everything in between. And here you are still sitting at 3-2. I guess what I'm trying to say, we are nowhere near playing the level of football that the Green Bay Packers are, capable of playing. And we're sitting at 3-2. Like, that's exciting to me. That's why you don't hear me down and out. Like, I think we're in a good spot. Let's ramp up. Let's build off of each game and take this thing to the front. In the NFC South, you got the Atlanta Falcons at 3-2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 3-2. So they're kind of tied there for the NFC South lead. I think the Falcons actually have the edge there. In the NFC West, you got the Seattle Seahawks at 3-2 and the Cardinals at 2-3. What's wild is the Cardinals beat the San Francisco 49ers, right, last week. And then the San Francisco 49ers went on and beat the Seahawks a couple nights ago. So funny how that works, right? There's parity across the NFL is at an all-time high. I
Well,
love
it
it.
is interesting though, right? Because so Arizona's got the tiebreaker then over the 49ers then in the division.
It's still too early. I want to say it goes by conference first, conference victories, and I don't even know what that is
Okay.
at the moment. But I mean, I trust nerding on NFL. I think this is the proper order for these. So if that's the case, the Cardinals are above the 49ers there, sitting at 2 and 3. But again, the Seahawks leading the division. Now, I went back today on my way to Knoxville. I watched it twice. The Cardinals win over the San Francisco 49ers. Tim, have you gotten a chance to watch that one yet by chance?
I did. I got to spin through the condensed game.
Yeah.
Took a
So
look.
here's the big thing, man. The Cardinals should not have won that game.
No.
Like, you've seen the 49ers cough up the ball there late in the fourth quarter and gave them a shot. Then they end up throwing an interception, I believe, if I remember correctly. Brock Purdy got hurt. The ball went behind Kittle. They pick it off again. I mean, like, there were so many things that went right for the Cardinals that had nothing to do with them playing good football. I'm not saying this is a slam dunk win tomorrow. But when I heard the Cardinals beat the Niners, I'm going, oh, boy, this might be a tough one here at Lambeau. And then when I went and watched how they beat the Niners, I'm going, I'm not too concerned. Kyler Murray is a weapon, and he's playing as good a football as he has, for a few years now. He went on a 2-year stretch. We kind of talked about it last night or the night before last, whenever it was. They can hurt you. Don't get me wrong. They got a potent offense, but that defense is pretty darn bad. You can't overlook any opponent. Don't get me wrong. But I feel a lot better after watching the way they beat the Niners. I don't know if you come out feeling the same way or not, but
Oh, I do. Absolutely. And I'm normally a guy that says, if you win the coin toss, defer it to the second half. I'm not feeling that way about this game. I think if we win the toss, we take the ball, get down there, put 7 on the board right away, try and get a stop, go out, put 7 more on, get a 2-score lead right away, play from ahead for a change, get used to playing with a lead and make Kyler Murray have to do those things, make him have to try and scramble and will his team to victory rather than being comfortable in that game. I really do. I think we got to take it to him early and often and just keep them on their heels, take them out of the game early.
Yeah. And, when he hit that zone read for 50 yards where he broke 20 miles an hour, I don't want to say it was a fluke play, but, I mean, that defensive end completely crashed on the running back. If they don't have that play, whole different ballgame, because that happened in the first – I think it happened in the first quarter, actually, if I remember correctly. So that's another play that, like, if they don't have that huge gainer there, that touchdown run by Murray, they probably don't even complete the comeback there in the fourth quarter, really. Right. So I know ifs and buts for candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. I understand, but same time, man. Whereas my dad used to say, if ifs were fists, we'd all be drunk, right? That's the redneck version of that. But
you're right, though. We got to play balanced and disciplined on defense. We cannot get caught with our hand in the cookie jar because just the slightest little seam or the slightest little bite the wrong way, and it's 20 yards up the seam with that guy. So we've got to account for him. And even all the spying in the world isn't gonna take that away if we're not playing disciplined football.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So when we look at the passing leaders, Geno Smith leads the league in passing yards. Dak Prescott is second, CJ Stroud third, Brock Purdy fourth, and Kirk Cousins in Atlanta is fifth. Most rushing yards in the league. Travis Henry first. Did I say Travis Henry? Derrick Henry. Boy, that was a blast from the past. Derrick Henry, 572 yards. He's averaging 6 yards a carry. Then you've got Mason from the 49ers, this guy that's just kind of emerged, behind Christian McCaffrey, who's obviously out with the injury there. He's got 536 yards, averaging 5.1 a pop. Then Saquon Barkley at 435 yards, 6 yards a pop. And then we got our very own Josh Jacobs is fourth in the league in rushing at 402 yards, averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Chuba Hubbard after him at 393. So there you go. You've got the fourth leading rusher in the league in overall rushing yards. Okay. Then when it comes to receivers, the leaders in receiving yards is Nico Collins with the Texans, Jamar Chase with the Bengals, Justin Jefferson with the Vikings, DK Metcalf with the Seahawks. And then we got our very own Jaden Reed is in fifth place at 414 yards. He's averaging 19.7 yards per reception, which leads the entire league, I'm pretty sure, when it comes to you remove all the minimum snaps, obviously. So he's definitely leading all of these receivers in the top 5, with the closest one being Nico Collins at 17.7 yards per reception. Pretty cool that Jaden Reed, even with playing with Malik Willis and having that offense geared around the running game for 2 of those 5 games that we played now, he's still 5th in the league in receiving yards, Tim. I think you're going to see him climb right back up this list as Jordan gets even healthier.
Oh, I agree. And, he may move up a couple of rungs. Obviously Nico Collins going to IR, so that's going to give Bird a chance to get some games and probably climb up this list a little bit. But, this is all like, cherry on top here. This is, individual stats. I'm sure if you talk to Jaden Reed, he wouldn't care about this. He wants to get dubs for his team. But, when you have individual success, it helps your team. And the more guys we can have that are getting hot, feels good to see Josh Jacobs up there and Jaden Reed up there when you're talking about top 5s here in the NFL. Hopefully we can add some more players to those lists as the season progresses. But I think one of the things, like you mentioned, with us being kind of run heavy in those Malik Willis games, that just shows you what an asset Jaden Reed is, because he still succeeds even despite the different game plans that maybe were geared away from the pass. You saw him catching a lot of those swing passes out of the backfield. We saw the jet motion. We saw the yo-yo motion, orbit motion. Reed is deadly wherever you put him. Boundary, slot, backfield, doesn't matter. The guy's a spark plug, and they call him Bird because he can fly. And the numbers are proving it right now. So it's just great to see.
Yeah, definitely is, man. And when you look at the most offensive yards per game from a team standpoint, the Ravens are first, the Niners are second, the Lions are third, the Packers are 4th in the league at 392.6 yards per game. The Commanders are 5th at 392.6, actually tied for 4th with the Packers, the exact number there. So the Packers are the fourth best offense in the league when it comes to offensive yards per game. All right, now least yards allowed, so this is your defensive stat of yards allowed per game. The Titans are number 1, the Jets are number 2, the Broncos are 3, the Texans are 4th, and the Chargers are 5th. Now, obviously, you guys know how I feel about yards. I think they're important, but the most important stat is the points per game allowed. The Packers are now, they've climbed up to the 13th ranked defense in points per play allowed, okay? At .338, they are 13th currently as the way that sits. And obviously, they're still leading the league in turnovers per game as far as takeaways, I should say. So thank you, Xavier McKinney, sir. So, let's see here. Prince says, surprised the Titans D is still on top in yards. Yeah, they've been solid in that regard, no doubt, Prince. The problem is, one of the problems they're running into is Will Levis just keeps giving the ball back to the other team, right? That hurts some of the other stats. Imagine if Will Levis hadn't turned the ball over half as much as he has. That yardage is probably even closer to 200 yards per game, honestly, with those extra possessions. Harry Cheese in the chat says, if McKinney gets a pick 6 in this game, you might as well just hand him Defensive Player of the Year. Holy cow, man.
That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem.
Well,
On in the pivot, who said pick 6 for McKinney in game 6, please. Sign me up. I'll take 2.
That would be so sweet. So sweet.
And here's Holmes again talking about the Madden Sim game had Green Bay locking down the Cardinals running game. That needs to happen. Really, really does. And I'll tell you, man, the big thing is James Conner. I think it's his name, their running back. Solid, like the 7th highest graded running back in the league this year, as well as just he's a solid back. He's a bruiser. That was one thing that did kind of pop off the screen there in the Niners game, Tim. I don't think he would have been as effective had they not climbed back in the game. He probably would have got far fewer stats, but he really did, man. He kind of he's coming to his own out there in Arizona. He fits that scheme pretty well. Josh Vallandigham says Clayton eats biscuits and gravy as a hobby. That is correct, sir. I'll tell you something that I've been turned on to here lately, Tim, that I'd never tried before in my whole life was, if you ever put any like real legit maple syrup on a fresh baked biscuit?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, that's the first time I tried it. I was like, what is this sorcery? This is unbelievable, man. And then I scarfed down about 8 of those, and Mandy's looking at me again going, he's thick, right? So that's how that works. But Josh Vallandigham gifting 5 Packer Fan Total Access memberships. Appreciate you, buddy. You are the man.
Here's the guy
There you go. We need to have that automatically trigger somehow where if somebody does a super chat or gifts a membership, it just needs to hit that audio for us. So anything else you want to look at on this graphic here, Tim, before we move on, sir?
No, I think we covered it. Looks good.
I love that. Again, man, we're going to do that every week. It feels kind of old school too. I remember when I was a kid getting the newspaper and trying to look at the games that coming week, and it'd have a couple of key statistics. Oh man, it's just awesome. Love it. All right, so there is that. Why don't we actually need to wrap this up, don't we? You know what? We won't. Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day here. We will be back on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate y'all. 39. All right. Let's shift gears here real quick, Tim, and talk about the NFL Pro preview for this game. I love doing this every week when we get a chance. There's just some really cool insight here when you kind of dive into exactly how this game is shaping up. And we'll try to get everything on the screen that we can. Can you see this okay, bub? Actually, I could probably go. I better keep our camera up, for obvious.
Yeah, I can see it. I just got mine off because I'm got my face 2 inches away from the screen.
I got you. That's a little bit better there. So, all right. So Arizona Cardinals at the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, we've talked about the weather, everything in between. Going to be a 1 o'clock kickoff, 12 Central kickoff there. It's going to be on Fox as well. So the way it sits as far as points per game, the Cardinals are 12th in the league at 24 points per game. I'm going to go ahead and kill my camera too. It might help the stream a touch. 24 points per game. That's 12th in the league. The Packers are scoring 25.6 points per game. That's not best in the league. As far as point differential, the Cardinals are actually -9 in point differential. That's 21st in the league. We are +20. That's 11th in the league. Record in close games, the Cardinals are 1-2. We are 2-2, so fairly even there. Average margin of victory, the Cardinals are 5th at 16 points. So their average margin of victory is 16 points. Thank you, Coach Happ. And the Packers are 17th in the league at only 9. All right. Turnover differential, the Cardinals are actually +2. That's really, really interesting. That surprises me a bit. That's not the best in the league, +2. The Packers are first at +7. All right. And then total penalties, the Cardinals have only 19 penalties. So they're the most disciplined team in the league. That's a wild stat. There you go. Perfect. And the Packers have 41 penalties. They're 26th best as far as discipline goes. We're going to get that straightened out there, Tupac LaFleur. That's exactly what's going to happen. So as the odds sit currently, DraftKings Sportsbook still has it as a 5.5-point game. The Packers are 5.5-point favorites in this game. The juice is on the money line for the Cardinals at +195. The over-under is currently set at 47 points. If that rain, keep an eye on that forecast, gang. If that forecast amps up and it looks like it's going to rain throughout the duration of the game, what I mean by that is if the second half forecast goes from 50% to stay into 70 or 80% chance of rain, might want to look at taking that under there, possibly. Right now, I know these are two high-scoring offenses, but the rain can do some funky things, man, there at Lambeau. Now, when we look at the team overview, Tim, this is what we got. Let's talk about the Cardinals offense and the Packers defense. Overall passing efficiency, okay, if I can get my cursor up here, right here. Overall passing efficiency, the Cardinals offense is 15th. The passing efficiency on defense, the Packers are 10th. Packers have the slot advantage there. Overall rushing efficiency, the Cardinals are 7th. The Packers defense is 11th. The edge goes to the Cardinals there. Pressure rate, the Cardinals are 7th in handling pressure rate as an offense. The Packers are 15th in applying pressure. All right, so that gives a 2-star advantage to the Cardinals in that regard. Now let's switch over to the Packers on offense. Overall passing efficiency, the Packers are 18th. The Cardinals defense is 23rd. That's a 2-star advantage for the Packers. Overall rushing efficiency, the Packers are 10th. The Cardinals rush defense is 23rd. That's a 3-star advantage for the Packers. And then a pressure rate, as far as handling pressure, the Packers offense is 15th. The Cardinals defense is 13th. That's a 4-star advantage there. So when you look at, from both offenses matchups here, the Cardinals offense and the Packers offense against each respective defense, basically what it comes down to are the Packers have the advantage in 4 of the 6 categories. All right. And then of those 4, one of them was a 4-star advantage. The other's a 3-star advantage. It just seems like the Packers do have a pretty strong advantage here. How do you feel about that, man? I feel like that's pretty much what we're seeing in every other analytics department, and also kind of what we're seeing on tape too. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. I think it shows like we're talking about this. This is going to probably be a closer game. We're kind of neck and neck in some of these, and then some of these we clearly have a distinct advantage over the Cardinals. Like we talked about our run defense against their run game is going to be everything, I think, for us in this one.
Yeah, definitely. Now, here are the matchup insights, next-gen stats, keys to the game. All right. Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Jair Alexander. And here's what it says. Rookie wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. has recorded 17 catches for 279 yards and 4 touchdowns through 5 weeks. After a 130-yard, 2-touchdown performance in Week 2 against the Rams, Harrison has totaled just 145 yards in subsequent 3 weeks. Harrison Jr. has been shadowed by an opposing quarterback in only 1 game this season. That was Week 4 against the Commanders. The matchup will be Packers cornerback Jair Alexander has shadowed opposing wide receivers in 2 games. Week 1 against the Eagles did not go good, which A.J. Brown, 65.7% of his routes he basically won on. And then in Week 3 against the Titans, Calvin Ridley, 72.4% of his routes. All right, so
redemption game for Jair.
Yes, speak it.
Incoming. Murray drops pass. He's looking for Marvin Harrison Jr. and
took it down the sideline, turned over with my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
Tim, you are on your P's and Q's this evening, sir. Oh, it's awesome. So that's one of the keys of the game. Marvin Harrison Jr. potentially versus Jair Alexander. You guys know how I feel about the cornerback following. I would much rather you stay on one side of the field and disguise the man and zone coverage, kind of keep them guessing a little bit. That's just me personally. All right, the next one, it says Packers offense versus the Cardinals defense. The Packers have recorded the 5th most rushing yards over expected, plus 151. All right, what that means, guys, is the yards in which the running backs or the receivers, if they're getting the ball in the running game, are gaining over what Next Gen Stats is saying is actually expected given that specific situation and how the blocking and everything sets up, right? So to me, that is the most important rushing stat, even over yards per carry. You guys know I like yards per carry, but this, rushing yards over expected is like taking it to the next level. It really does cut out some of the BS yardage, if you will. So I think that's absolutely awesome there. Let's see. It says with newly acquired running back Josh Jacobs leading the way with 19 missed tackles forced on runs this season. That's 5th most in the NFL. It says matchup opposing offenses have been expected to gain 657 rushing yards against the Cardinals defense this season, 5th most in the NFL. Tim, how do you feel about running the damn football tomorrow, bro? In the rain.
No block, no rock.
That's right.
That's how I feel. We got to do it all in the trenches. I think we'll go as run heavy as we possibly can in a Matt LaFleur offense, put it that way, especially when you've got, Jay Money under centered. You don't want to take the ball out of his hands too much, regardless of the conditions. We talked about, Jordan's grip strength and, hand size and stuff like that, the advantages he has in a cold weather game or a damp game. So really, I don't think Jordan's going to have too big of a problem throwing the football. But I do think running the ball is going to have to be a point of emphasis. I really do. I think it's going to help us just get an early lead and then protect that lead, hopefully play from ahead all game long.
Yeah, definitely. Drew D dropping an interesting nugget here. He says, by the way, Popeye's Chicken has a ghost pepper chicken sandwich, and it's really tasty, but not spicy. So you guys should try it. Thank you, Drew. We appreciate that, man. We'll take any food recommendations for game day. I might have to get that tomorrow. We'll see how we wake up feeling.
You heard it from a fan right here.
There you go. Cardinals defense. The Cardinals defense has generated pressure on just 25.3% of opposing dropbacks this season, the 2nd lowest rate in the NFL. They are one of just 2 teams, the Falcons, without a single pass rusher to record double-digit pressures in 2024. Kazir Watt leads the team in pressures this season with 7. So that would suggest him that let's please don't try to pass the football too much. You see stats like that and you're going, yeah, let's throw the football around the yard. And 2 minutes ago, we're saying we need to run the rock. It's nice to know that the Cardinals are struggling to get pressure on the quarterback. I guess the best way to put that. What's your take on that, sir?
Yeah, no, that's a good thing to see, especially considering, kind of wishy-washy our offensive line play has been as of late. We know pass pro is their strength. So hopefully this will be a good opportunity for, the guys on that line to kind of get a good game under their belts and, feel good moving forward. Real interested to see what our approach is going to be. Either way, I don't think we're going to get too one-dimensional. I think we're going to run the ball and we're going to throw the ball. I think the minute we start doing too much of either one of those things, we may be in trouble. So hopefully we have a balanced attack tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Drew D with the super chat. Thank you so much, Drew. He said, did you see we elevated the fullback? I think that's a giveaway. We are planning to carry the rock a lot. So we might see a little 21 personnel tomorrow, as Drew D confirms here. Matt Schneidman tweeted out 4 hours ago, the Packers have elevated fullback Andrew Beck to the game day roster. So Beck is in. Tim, might see your dual back sets back there. And you know what we say? 1 back equals 1 gap. 2 backs equals 2 gaps. Going to cause a little bit of confusion there. With the Cardinals defense, it's already struggling to stop the run, man.
Have we seen 21 personnel at all this year?
I don't think we have, Tim.
Man, I would love to see it. We might see it tomorrow.
If we break out a power eye tomorrow, wouldn't that be? Oh, it'd be awesome.
Oh man, let's go.
Yeah, I want to see them break out the power eye with 22 personnel. All right, big 22, and I want to see them pre-snap motion Josh Jacobs out wide, and then bring Tuck Norris himself, Trucker Kraft, into the backfield and give him the damn rock.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm waiting for the Tucker Kraft, his first carry of his career, man. It's coming, I'm telling you.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. I'm all for it.
Wait.
With Ben Sims lead blocking. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate the super chat, Drew. You're the man. Holmes says if it's raining heavy, they will run like they did against the Colts. And they what if you did that too, Tim? You get the running going a little bit, and all of a sudden Malik Willis trots out there, run a couple zone reads, and take him back off the field, and Jordan throws a bomb. Let's go, man. I'm getting excited.
I love it. We run that zone read with Jay Money too now. Come on now.
We'll come out tomorrow, and Jordan Love's going to throw 50 attempts, and we don't know what the hell we're talking about. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, man.
All right. So, again, that was the take there on the Cardinals defense. And then the last one here, as far as next-gen stats, keys to the game, Jordan Love. Jordan Love has averaged a league-high 10.2 yards per attempt when facing 4 or fewer rushers this season. Love is the only quarterback to achieve a yards per attempt over 10 in such situations. Despite his league-leading yards per attempt, he has recorded a league-low minus 8.6% completion percentage over expected when not blitzed. That is a wild stat. One side of the spectrum, you could say, man, he's better than anyone at it. And the other side, you could say, nope, he's absolute cheeks. That's cool that they covered both bases there. I think that's awesome. So pretty cool stuff there. Anything else you want to add to that before we move along here, Tim? We can actually go to performance trends too. Looks like they got a couple here for us. Anything you want to add to that last little section there?
No, let's keep rolling. I think you covered it.
All right. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has rushed for at least 45 yards in 4 of 5 games this season. So obviously he's definitely a threat to run the rock. On the other side, it says Jaden Reed versus the Cardinals defense. Jaden Reed has over 75 yards receiving in all 3 games that Jordan Love has started this season. The Cardinals have allowed at least 75 receiving yards to a player in each of the last 3 games. That would kind of lead you to believe that Jaden Reed might have a ball game if the rain does subside there in the second half too, Tim.
Here's the guy.
I don't know. That number right there alone kind of makes me think, hey, if you got Jaden Reed, you're probably starting him regardless if he's on your fantasy team, right? But might see a little bird tomorrow, man. So that's exciting. All right. Let's go to key advantages. This is where it gets really, really in depth. All right. Quarterback scrambles, the Cardinals offense, number 2 at quarterback scrambles, the Packers defense, number 20 at stopping it. Tim, that's a 5-star advantage for the Cardinals. You think that Matt LaFleur and Jeff Hafley ain't scheming against that, you've lost your mind. I know they're putting together a pass rush that's going to protect the integrity of those scramble gaps for sure, man. Rushing versus the light box. The Cardinals offense is number 2 in the league at that. Packers defense is number 19 playing with a lot box. It's a 4-star advantage for the Cardinals. All right. Deep passing. The Cardinals offense is 15th in deep passing. The Packers defense, because of Xavier McKinney, I'm sure, is 3rd best against deep passing. That's a 3-star advantage for the Packers defense. Rushing out of the shotgun, the Cardinals are 6th best in the league. The Packers defense is 21st best at stopping the running game out of the shotgun. 3-star advantage goes to the Cardinals. And then rushing under center, the Cardinals offense is 20th under center, running the ball. The Packers defense is 4th best at stopping it from under center. All right, that's a 3-star advantage to the Packers. Moving on to the Packers offense against the Cardinals defense. This is where it looks good. Running the ball out of the shotgun, the Packers are 3rd best in the league. The Cardinals defense is 31st in stopping the shotgun run. 5-star advantage goes to the Packers. Rushing the ball versus a lot box, the Packers are 5th best in the league. Cardinals defense is 27th, 4-star advantage for the Packers. Pressure rate, the Packers are 15th in handling pressure, and the Cardinals defense is 31st at providing that pressure. That's a 4-star advantage for the Packers. Passing versus no blitzers, the Packers are 2nd in the league, and the Cardinals defense is 15th best in the league when not blitzing. And then passing versus play action, the Packers offense is 7th passing with play action, and the Cardinals defense is 30th against that. What that spells there, Tim, with their run defense being cheeks, run the rock, set up play action. I mean, that's a huge – that seems like that's where the matchup is there. And we talked about it last night when we were getting specific on game planning. When it comes to the offensive game plan, their EPA is worse against 12 personnel and 11 personnel. All right, so look for a little more 12, although we're going to be running 21, going to be very, very similar to 12 in that regard. That's going to trigger their base, okay? That's what they're worse at, is facing those type of offenses. So maybe establish the run out of 12 personnel and 21 personnel and then run play action off of it. They struggle the most in 2x2 sets, 2x3 sets, which is an empty tray or trips right, and then, of course, tray or trips left. Those are the 3 formations that the Cardinals defense struggles against the most. So against balanced 2x2, 2x3, trips and tray left. All right. So that's how that sets up. And then with the defensive game plan, they are worse than EPA with 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 13 personnel. They like to attack you with 2x2 sets, tray left and tray right. So they like to stay in some of those condensed sets, but look for them to include tight ends in those 3x1 and 1x3 sets in that regard. So key advantages. Any takes there, Tim?
Yeah, what you said. Establish the run early and often, and then
Play with a lead.
Yeah, play with a lead and then set up that play action. Like you said, let's see some play action boot set up with a good run game. And I always say this too. It doesn't mean we need, Josh Jacobs running a rough shot all day long. It just means we need that 4.5 yards per attempt or whatever he's averaging, right? Get the ball moving forward, keep that defense on its heels, keep them honest, and then we set up the big plays down the field.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to passing. We won't cover them all. I'm going to hit on some of the 3-star advantages and disadvantages real quick. Anything 3-star or more, we'll be sitting here all damn not long, okay? Deep passing, Cardinals offense, 15th best in the league. We already talked about that. 3rd best defense for the Packers. That's a 3-star advantage. Short passing, the Cardinals have the advantage there. They're 10th in the league with the short passing game. The Packers defense is 21st in stopping it, all right? Those are your 3-star advantage and disadvantage with the Cardinals offense versus the Packers defense. On the Packers offensive side of the ball, anything 3-star or more, passing versus no blitz, we talked about it. Huge advantage. Passing versus play action, huge advantage for the Packers. Short passing game, huge advantage for the Packers. Passing versus no pressure, huge advantage for the Packers. Long passing, huge advantage for the Packers. If this was a dry game, no rain, I would say Jordan Love might put up his biggest numbers, but with that rain being in the forecast, you're probably going to back off that a touch, I would imagine. So
I would think it would affect it at least a little bit, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
It would have to. Yeah. And then again, a quick look at the running game. Quarterback scrambles, they got a huge advantage. Running versus a lot box, they got a huge advantage. Running out of the shotgun, they got a huge advantage. And then rushing under center, though, the Packers have the advantage on the defensive side of the ball, stopping that. On the Packers offensive side, again, just a real quick recap. Running out of the shotgun, they have the huge advantage, 5 stars. running versus the lock box, rushing outside the tackles, overall rushing efficiency, design runs. This feels like Josh Jacobs is set to have a damn good game, man.
That ain't no problem. Huh? That ain't no problem.
Well,
There you go. Now, we were talking earlier, Tim, about our boy Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Let's do this. Let's go to the film room and watch a little bit of his snaps. I got all of his catches triggered up. I was going to do it by yards of separation because he's not that great at yards of separation. However, there was only a few of those, so I figured we would get into a little more in depth, a few other, I don't know, more looks if you want to say it that way. Holmes in the chat said, and don't turn the ball over. Amen. Got to win that turnover differential. Got to. Hell or high water. Got to. So,
especially with the way our defense is creating turnovers. So we can't have a defense getting, 1 to 2 to 3 takeaways, and then we're giving up the same thing. We're doing absolutely nothing then. So we got to protect the football. He's absolutely right.
Definitely. So here are Marvin Harrison Jr.'s receptions. We're just going to go through them real quick. I think he's slot left. They just flex the T out to the top. So he's the guy in the slot. If I remember correctly, it's just a little 4-yard curl. Yep, just bang, right? Nothing special there. Nothing out of the ordinary there, right? As far as, man, we can't cover that. All right, let's watch this snap here. I believe he's up at the top again right here. So he kind of plays that boundary X. Here he is on a crosser, actually a post. That's a tutter. That's a nice grab right there. All right, so watch for the post route. He's got strong hands. That seems to be his big strength. Here's a 60-yard bomb to him. I believe that's him up top again, playing the X, little play action. First of all, let's roll it back here, Tim. I want you to see this. Look at this setup right here, bro. This looks like 13 personnel. Could be 22, but I think it's 13 personnel. And the only receiver on the field is Marvin Harrison Jr. So what are they going to do out of that? Get them keying in on the run. You see this heavy front here. I mean, they got 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. Everybody bites on the play fake, little rollout.
And why does everyone bite on the play fake? Probably because Arizona was running the ball
down there
prior to this.
So there's a 60-yard touchdown to Marvin Harrison. All right, here's a 15-yarder to Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, what we're noticing is he plays X and boundary X. Okay, that seems to be his spot. That's the same play. It's doing that locked up on me again. Let's see if we can get back to it real quick. Hopefully it'll key up right here. This is the 15-yarder. Here you go. So here they are backed up in their own end zone.
Top ears.
And here's that. Remember we started talking Trey Wright? Again, when we mentioned what they like to do, they like to go trips and Trey left and right. Here they are in Trey Wright. What we mean by that, you've got 3 targets on the right side of the center, and this inside guy is a tight end. It could be double Trey Wright, which means tight end, but we don't know their personnel well enough. That kind of looks like that might be Marvin Harrison Jr. there. Let's let the play develop because they get 15 yards here backed up from their own 1-yard line. So he was up top playing that boundary. Whoa, wow. Did you see that?
Yep.
Back shoulder look.
Yeah, good ball by Murray. And great grab by Harrison Jr. here for
Let's
sure.
see it from the end zone cam. That is a pretty ball. Yeah, that's what he does well, man. Or those 50-50 balls, jump balls, things like that. He's not very good though at separating.
That right there looks like the type of stuff Ja loves to jump. Loves to jump a route like that and house one. So let's keep our eyes open.
Here's a 32-yarder to Marvin Harrison Jr. This was against the Rams, I believe that is. I'm pretty sure this is him up here. So it seems like they're playing press. I think that's him up top playing X again. So he is definitely their X receiver, no doubt. So let's see if they press him up top here. Is the ball snap? Yep, little press, turn around.
Pressing,
that's interesting. Yeah, so they
pressing a pass off to.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
This is what you got to watch for with Kyler Murray. Let's go end zone cam. All right.
Yeah.
Watch Kyler Murray here, guys, because they basically played press and then played a cover 2, not of the sink variety. But look, that's what you got to look for with Kyler Murray, right? Now, what you're seeing here, this is Marvin Harrison Jr. along the boundary. He's sitting in that curl, coming back, working like a hitch route, coming back to Kyler. He recognizes this and watch him do this little whoop, and he's gone.
Yep. And another great ball in that situation from Kyler Murray. I've given Kyler Murray a lot of crap over the years about his passing ability, and he keeps making me look stupid. We can't take that for granted, man. The guy can throw the football for sure.
Yeah, dude, he's got crazy arm talent.
Yep.
You know, the biggest knock on him was like his leadership, because you've seen, you know, there was a lot of talk about that with Cliff Kingsbury. That was supposed to be his guy. They, I think he had coached Kyler in college, if I remember correctly. And all of a sudden that falls apart. They're fighting with each other. Yeah. Cliff Kingsbury goes to Washington. Oh, by the way, they got one of the best offenses in the league now all of a sudden. But Kyler seemed to have adjusted too. This seemed to be a move that worked out.
Double XP weekends, man. They'll get you.
Exactly correct. All right, so here we are. This is a 10-yard touchdown pass. They're at a double sidecar here, right? Looks like they flexed that the 5'7" receiver. This is how they like to use him, Tim. He's kind of their Jaden Reed. He just not as good as Jaden Reed, obviously, but that's how they use him. See how they shifted him from wide receiver into the pony package, little play fake, and then I imagine, here we go up top.
Wow.
Nice grab there. So 10-yard tutter there. Here's a 17-yarder. Let's pick it out of the crowd real quick. 17 yards. So I'm sure this is him up top again, playing that boundary X. Short side of the field. Ooh, nice route. Little comeback. I don't know if you've seen it, but watch him stick it right here. Little double move, bang. Pretty ball by Kyler, too, right on the sideline.
Yeah. And all of these are against legit defenses, too.
Yep. Agreed. All right, let's see. Here's a 2-yard touchdown. Let's see what they like to do inside the 5 here, Tim, when it comes to Kyler Murray to our boy Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh, you see the slot fade here. All right, so
with an under concept.
Yeah, so we've seen, Tim, them put him on the boundary the entire time. When they get inside the 5, don't be surprised if they throw him in the slot, right? That's what you're seeing here. And again, like you said, a little over-under. Just run a little – what do they call that? I got that here. Let's geek out for a second. So we had a drag with a fade, essentially, right? Now, some people might call it something else. So you got the one with the drag. Give me just a second. I know we've got that here. Maybe we don't have it here. Yeah, there it is, snag. I thought that's what it was called. Right. Snag concept. So with the snag concept, what you've got is the number 1 receiver. This is your 1. This is your 2. All right. The 1 will run a drag, and the 2 will typically run a go. In this case, it's going to be a non-fade because you're in the end zone. So
which was brilliant because it did what it was supposed to do. If you go back to the snap, you watch number 1 on Washington here. He's going to give them inside. Right there, he stepped inside thinking Harrison's going to go, like you said, on the 9, or he's going to go on maybe a post or something to the inside. And just that little stick and move is all it took. You see Murray getting the ball out right away.
Yeah, you're right, man. Put that foot in the ground and go. And you got him to commit inside.
It's already over with.
Yeah. And they're in zero coverage right here. They're firing a blitz in the middle. If you notice the backers here, they're kind of playing that run. They're honoring that. Everybody's one-on-one, but you're right, man. A little jab step, snag concept, slot fade, whatever you want to call it. That's a touchdown.
It'll be interesting to see what we do tomorrow with our lineup. Like if Jair's going to play, does that mean that we kind of go with what we had last week, and maybe Stokes doesn't get the start? Maybe we keep Keyshawn at the boundary. We got Bull in the slot. We got Evan Williams out there still. I don't know. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is just a freak of nature, man. We've got to account for this guy.
Got to. That's his go-to target right now, man. No doubt about it. So
I feel like I like Keyshawn in a situation like that. Like if we've got no help over the top, I'd almost like to see if they've got 25 on him, if he's going to go into the slot.
I can see that. Here's a 19-yarder to our boy. I'm sure this is him up top, boundary X. There's that out route again, Tim. Outs and hitches, right?
Yep.
Beautiful. Can't run it any better there.
It's almost like he learned from his old man or something.
Yeah, no doubt. He definitely got the genes, don't he?
Yep.
Let's go to the 22. Let me reset it. Apologize for the scrolling. It's the only way I can get to work here. All right, 22. This is a 22-yarder against the Niners. I imagine this is him down here, boundary X again. See, he gave some kind of signal just now, Tim.
Yep.
I'm wondering if he's seeing all this space out here. But let's see what he does. He gave Kyler a signal there. I'm pretty sure that's him right there.
Yeah.
Let's see, 22-yarder. Ball snapped. Is it man coverage? It is man coverage. Man, other side, wasn't it? So it was other side. Okay.
Something that a lot of these plays have in common, Clay, that we're just looking at, man, they're all to the boundary, man. I wonder, do we just play do we just play middle field open all day and dare them? Mm-hmm. Just take away those outside throws and just dare them to beat us over the middle?
Look at this, man. In this situation here, they flexed our boy out that we were just talking about. So he starts off inside slot, and then what he's going to flex out real quick. You're going to see him motion out. And now what you've got is Marvin Harrison Jr. in the slot. And guess what they're running, Tim? Snag. It'll be a drag, slot fade.
Yep.
Snag concept. Watch, this is like stealing Mountain Dew from a baby right here. Watch this. Ball snap. Let's watch the release. Up, inside jab again. See it?
Yep.
Gotta look for that when he's in the slot. That's probably what they're doing. Inside jab, outside, slot fade of the snag variety. Great ball by Kyler, too. All right. Picking up on a couple of tendencies here. If I see that slot fade tomorrow, I'm still going to throw my remote through the TV. I promise you. It's going to happen. Here's the last one we'll show. 14-yarder, Marvin Harrison Jr. So hard to pick up where he's at here. I'm pretty sure he's on the bottom, probably right here maybe. Let's see. Ball snapped. Yeah, corner route. And you see that too, like Kyler kind of hung it up there because he got pressured, a little fadeaway throw. But look how he walls. Look how Marvin Harrison Jr. walls off the defender, protects his quarterback. See how he walls him off right there?
Yep.
Grab. It's huge, man. And you can't teach that, dude. That's something that you get that from your pops. Guarantee it. Watch it again. Look at the pressure in Kyler's face. This is what I'm talking about, man. You can get pressure on him, right? And it don't even matter if you got a single coverage back there. Off his back foot, bang. Great. That's just a great job by Marvin Harrison. Look at that, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes body catches are the way to go, too. I know people make fun of them, but sometimes you got to do
sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of drops from our guys this year because they had their hands out in front of them when maybe a body catch might have been the better move.
Definitely. Jerry Rice, it's funny when people talk about body catching, it's, oh, man, they're horrible. You can't catch with their hands. 90% of Jerry Rice's highlights were body catches. So, not that he didn't have hands, but anyway. Let's see what we got in the chat as we get ready to wrap up here. Drew D says, I think Williams played well enough to get the start, 81.9 PFF grade last week, but Hafley rotates our guys a lot, so everyone will get to play. I'm with you, Drew. I think Williams earned the right to kind of, hey, let's play him as the starting safety now alongside X and until he gives us a reason otherwise. But I know what you're saying, man. They absolutely love to play rotational. There's no two ways about that. They like to rotate their guys in and out. So, yeah. Greg Rice in the chat said, hey, everyone, sorry I'm late. Clayton, Tim, would you guys mind starting over? Yeah, we will. As soon as we wrap up here in a second, Greg, what you can do is you'll see a little refresh button. Just hit that, and we'll start right over, okay? We appreciate you swinging through, buddy. Good to see you in here. Let's see here. Drew D says, looks like Murray will put the ball in harm's way if you get some pressure in his face. We're just raving over that fadeaway throw, Tim, but the reality is probably got a minus grade for that one in the film room, right? So there might be some opportunities to pick the ball off.
There will be if the pressure gets there quick. It's got to get there quick, and we got to keep him inside the tackles. You know, when he wiggles outside of the tackles and is able to break free from that pocket and extend the play, that's when trouble can start. So I agree. If he's got, LVN or Rashawn or somebody breathing down his neck right away, chances are he might throw one up down the field, and it's Xavier McKinney time all day. So I fully anticipate we'll get our opportunities tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And, we always talk about the explosive plays too. I haven't even had a chance to look and see where the Cardinals are at in explosive plays. Let me drop that banner down real quick. Let's see where the Cardinals sit here. Offensively, look at that, Tim. Third in the league at explosive play rates through week 5. All right, so what that means, guys, explosive plays are running plays of 10 yards or more and passing plays of 20 yards or more. We are second in the league at 13% of the plays we are completing explosive plays. The Cardinals are second at 12.4. Yeah, so that's a very interesting stat there. The difference is our defense is playing quite a bit better than their defense. So let's hope they show up, right? That's what we got to have. Got to have that defense show up tomorrow. And again, like we pointed out earlier, here's your forecast for the game as it sits right now. Tailgating weather, if you're going to be out there at Lambeau, 52 degrees and rain, 40% chance. Got winds 5 to 10 mile an hour. Then right around kickoff, that's going to amp up to 70 to 80% chance, depending on which website you look at. 55 degrees, going to feel like 41, winds picking up to about 10 mile an hour. Some sites have it 10 to 15 mile an hour, even at kickoff. We'll see. And then at halftime, 50% chance of rain, 10 mile an hour winds. And then at the end of the game, 52 degrees and rain. This was the most recent one I pulled up, and it was showing 85% chance of rain. Basically through the first half is what it looked like. So if that's the case, run, Rudolph. Santa got to make it to town. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught speeding this guy right here. Call it in. Anything else, Tim? Anything else you want to cover, bro?
I just wanted to hit one more in the chat here. Greg Rice talking about Kyler Murray. He's like tackling smoke. Exactly.
I think
it's so true. And I truly believe the key is going to be to not let him out of that pocket if we can at all avoid it. Our edge rushers are going to have their plate full tomorrow. Important to not over pursue. Don't wash yourself out of plays. Don't rush too deep. Because another thing that we don't talk about a lot too is Murray's ability to step up in that pocket and without necessarily scrambling or getting out of there, but able to step up and extend a play, buy himself time to find a throw. So, if guys on the back end are doing their job, that's great, but the pass rush has got to get there, and we gotta contain Murray in that pocket.
Yeah, no doubt. And here's the thing, like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be an ass here, but he's a shorter dude. And what you want those shorter quarterbacks to do is throw from within the pocket, right? You want to throw from what they call the well. You want to create this wall of bodies and keep him in the pocket. So he has to throw out of that well. Think of you, all you country folk out there. You've been in the well, right? Imagine trying to throw a football out of that thing. You're shorter in stature, and it's great to have big offensive linemen. But when you got a left tackle that's 6'6", a guard that's 6'4", and you're only 5'10", and they're getting pushed back into you, it's going to be hard to complete those passes and find those throwing lanes. Now you see with Kyler Murray on the run, no problem, right? The fadeaway shot, no problem, but compress that pocket. Make him play within the pocket, right? But don't get too aggressive to where, like let's say it's a 4-man rush. Now, I'm not saying that Hafley will do this. I think he's going to bring a combination of blitzing like he has in the past. I think it'll be a well-rounded game plan, to be honest with you. I don't think the pass rush is going to be overly aggressive. What I mean by that is if you bring a 4-man rush and one of your wide nines uses an inside move, Kyler's going to jab step, roll left, and now you're in trouble. He can scramble. He can, create those, like you seen with Marvin Harrison Jr. on 2 different occasions where he broke off his route and got a big gainer. Those are explosive plays too, right? So just something you got to keep in mind. You got to keep him within the pocket. So.
And fundamentally sound football from our D-line group and our linebackers. Get your hands up when you're pursuing that quarterback, even if you're late, even if you're running a twist or a stunt and you're getting over late, get that hand up because you never know. That's one of the things, we talk about quarterbacks being able to change the arm angle, manipulate the arm angle to get the ball out. I think when you're a little bit shorter, like a guy like Murray, I think that's less of an issue. You're not really worried about Kyler Murray changing the arm angle on you. If he brings that ball lower, he's doing you a favor. So we got to play big. I'm Kingsley and Igbare, these guys, we got to play big near the line of scrimmage, get those hands up. You never know what can happen because those are turnovers waiting to happen, right? That tip ball at the line of scrimmage, you just get a pinky finger on it. Next thing you know, somebody's taking it to the house. So play aggressive, play fundamentally sound up front. I think we'll be all right.
I agree, man. That's it, gang. This was fun, man. We learned a lot tonight, Tim. I appreciate you hanging out with me, man. This was a blast. We're going to be back tomorrow for the pregame show. Like I said, we'll go live if it's 12 noon Central kickoff, help this dumb redneck figure it out. We go live about 10:30 a.m.
10:30 Central, right?
10:30 Central. We'll get that set up right now. And a quick shout out to Josh Vallantingham gifting 5 Packer Fan Total Access memberships. Appreciate you, buddy. And Drew D with the super chat. Thank you so much, Drew. That dog looking good, man. Absolutely love seeing that picture every time. So we're out of here, guys. If y'all would take a quick second, hit that like button for us on the way out. Feel free to sub to the channel. Like I said, tomorrow we'll be doing a pregame show and a postgame show, bringing you all the information, news, notes, highlights, all that stuff. If you're tailgating tomorrow, all right, I'm going to try to get better at mentioning this. If you're tailgating at Lambeau tomorrow, find me on Twitter at Packers_access. DM me some tailgate shots, all right? That sounded bad. Don't DM me. Don't DM me any dump
Tailgate
truck.
shots.
I ain't trying to get no DM dump truck pics. All right. What I'm looking for here is everybody having a good time at the tailgate. Send some pictures. If you get them in quick enough, we'll actually show them on the pregame show. Okay. I'm going to keep an eye out for the direct messages and try to get some of those shots out there. Okay? I know
Shout out to the infamous Lot 1 tailgating group out there. I'm sure they'll have plenty of footage for you.
Greg Ross said, whoa. And then he said, she has dumps like a truck. All right. You just aged yourself, Greg, and so did I. That's it. We're out of here. The show sucks. Tim, help me out, please.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us part of your day. We don't know why you do, but we greatly appreciate it. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.